think for them, their job is to do the shelves, and they're told to do the shelves, and they have 2 hours to do the shelves. So in their defense, that's all they're supposed to do.
That's great, but then you have somebody at the cash register whose job is to process the food and get it through. So with that kind of an attitude, nobody's really being friendly.
Think about, have you been in the supermarket and you bring something to the cashier and she goes, "What's this?" And you go, "Mean, what's that?"
Yeah.
Well, what's this? Then she picks up the next vegetable and she kind of goes, like wrinkles up her nose. "And what do you do with this?" By that time you say, "Oh, well, anyway, why doesn't she know her fruits and vegetables?" Or you go into a restaurant and you say to the person, "How's the shrimp today?" "Oh, I have seafood allergies. I can't eat shrimp." Well, now you think maybe you should have seafood allergies, or maybe you have them too. But, a salesperson, a really great salesperson says to you, "In the kitchen they tell me such and such is great." Or, "I was looking at the desserts. Oh, I hope you save room for those because, that chocolate cake, oh my God, it's just like magnificent." And then they kind of touch you on the arm. And
that's a dangerous thing.
Just a little touch. Okay. You might not even notice. As we go through the dinner and we talk and we laugh, and towards the end, it just touch you on the arm slightly. And we're friends by now. And I've already said to you,
right.
Wait a minute, I've got the cake for
that
you.
Worked. That was no problem.
God.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I had cake. I could have sold it to you then.
I need some right now.
And that's that part about building connections with your customers. And if you don't build a connection, the customer feels no reason to ever come back. But if you treat me way better, and you remember me, and you call me, and you come with your daughter, and you say your daughter's playing soccer, and the next time I come in, I say, "How was the soccer game?" I think we're starved at this point for connections. If you look at where our connections have gone, face to face to the internet. Yesterday I was in a restaurant, and there were this young couple having lunch. She had a BlackBerry and he had a BlackBerry. They were sitting across from each other doing their BlackBerries. They didn't look at each other, and they were kind of eating in between texting. And I thought, I wonder what kind of salespeople these people would make. It's like they couldn't look at each other, and it's like, what happened to us? But for businesses, the internet is really the next level. But if you're good with your customers, you take them to the next level, and you say to them, we have a Facebook. Would you join us on Facebook? Would we be out there? We talk about all the events we're going to have in our store, and we have kind of clubs and things. Would you join us? Now you take your customer you built that great relationship with, and you take them online, and you continue to build it. That's red hot customer service.
That's hard to get there.
And it's hard to get there because people think that customer service is doing their job. I give you your stuff, you go home, you give me $5, I give you $5 worth of stuff. That's not customer service.
Well, they put a sign, customer service.
I know, that's doing your job.
Right.
And in order to get to the next level, which is the red hot part, you have to be able to, it's like paying your dues. You get there on time, you do your work right, you don't run over the dog, you don't mess up the driveway. That's just, I think they used to call that customer service because you couldn't even get that done 30 years ago.
Basic.
But now, that's, I call the price of entry.
Right.
You do that part, I trust you, now we get ready for the next level, which is now we build the relationship. I call you and I say, you know, I know you're happy with what you bought. You told me you just love it. I'm wondering, is there anybody that you think would benefit from my expertise? I mean, any of your friends, is there anybody I could help like I helped you? Now, I'm willing to do that because I love you. You know, you've been great to me.
And you have to ask.
And you have to ask, and that's the other part, that if you run a good business, the customer gets waited on, they go home. If you run a great business, that's your person for life. You call them, you ask for referrals, you invite them to an in-store party. But that's how you build your red-hot customer service so that people always remember.
We've covered a lot of ground, but there's tons more. We could do a lot of things. I want to do two things before we end, even though we're moving on here. One is, you do training.
Yes, I do.
Could you talk a little bit about the dynamics of training? I think a lot of people are trying to run their business, but they need information and help to train their staff.
Part of it is actually knowing what's going on in the economy. knowing where the customer is, what's fueling the customer.
Well, I mean, in terms of training your staff.
Yeah, but you need to get your staff people to understand that it's not all about the fact that consumers are not wanting to spend their money or don't have it. Part of it's not having trust in things like, remember General Motors, all these people, all of a sudden, we're out of business, and you go, who'd ever thought it? So they have to understand that trust is number one. So you have to get your salespeople to understand that the consumer will spend because they're spending, but this is not a consumer that's never been to the marketplace. This customer's been out there, they're savvy. So, but they're looking to trust. You need to trust. They need to trust you. And so you've got to figure out, what is trust? What about your business says trust? What kind of warranties do you have? What is the value of what you do? How do you impart that to a customer? I mean, I'm willing to, if somebody calls me from here and says, would you go check out my customer service? All they have to do is tell me, what is it you want your salespeople to do? I'll go in and do a free inventory of what's going on with your salespeople, and then you can use that data to train. Because you have to see the interaction, and somebody has to go out and watch that interaction and have like a check sheet. This is what I want them to do. They're supposed to smile. They are supposed to say hello. And so I check that, and then I go back and say, okay, this is what they're doing. Now, you want them to do something else? We have to help them understand the reason why they have to.
Okay.
And so that's what you need to do before you ever train. Have somebody call your customers on the phone, the ones that, I call them the defectors. You know, the ones that used to come, don't come anymore. Have somebody call them and say, hey, look, what happened? What did we do? Used to be a great customer of ours. Or you have to have somebody else call them who says, I'm trying to help them improve their customer service. What could they have done to make you be a customer? And where did you go? And what did you purchase that we would have liked to have purchased from us? You collect all that data, plus having somebody shop your store. Now you've got information to train people with. I mean, people don't want to be trained by somebody who doesn't know them and say, this is what you should do. But if I come in with data about your past customers who don't like you anymore, and I have all the data as to why, and I have information about how you act with customers, now salespeople will listen.